Hey, Caro. My name is Baba Anthony, and welcome to another one of our Ifa Temple services with Okanran Sode Temple here in Miami, Florida. Let us begin with our morning prayers. Alolo omi, cool piece of water, pure tranquil water. The path the vulture takes from heaven to earth, the path the vulture takes from earth to heaven, it is demanding. This was the Ifa cast for Rumilin when he was going to take Olomi Tutu, owner of Cool Water, as his wife. Ifa says it's taboo. Irigialo will never allow Olomi Tutu to die a cruel, cheap death. Olomi Tutu and death have entered into a covenant. Ashe. Cool roads, cool home, cool eshu. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Ibashe Akamara, Ibashe Olodumare, Ibashe to all the Iromole on the left hand side of Olodumare, Ibashe to all the Iromole on the right hand side of Olodumare, Ibashe to Orumila Eleri Puen, Ibashe to Akoda, Ibashe to Ashoda, Ibashe to Eshuoda, Ibashe to my Lord, Ibashe to my Oibona, Ibashe to my Baba Ifa, Ibashe to all my brothers and sisters in Ifa and Orisha, Ibashe to my mother, Ibashe to my father, Ibashe to my wife, Ibashe to my children. Ashe. Eji obey. He who hears our pleas and accepts our pleas, he who hears our pleas and approves our pleas, he who talks to us to ensure the talk is completely absorbed, he who hears our pleas and accepts our pleas is the name of Ifa, he who hears our pleas and approves our pleas is Eshuada. He who talks to people and ensures the talk is completely absorbed is the name of Orishanla. Orishanla, you are the one who molds human beings. The one who molds one cannot fail to impress one. It is the striped frog who summons the downpour. It is whatever the Akeda Japon tree root tells the earth that the earth is accepted. Whatever the big rat tells the earth is what the earth accepts. All what I tell you, Ifa, please approve and accept it. Ashe. Ifa, as I come this morning, I come to give you praise and ask for your guidance, protection, and blessings to bring support into our lives, to remove death, to remove sickness, to remove litigation, to remove loss, to guide us in all things that we need to be guided. Ashe. Otor erete. To show gratitude upon gratitude is the awo of all gratitude. To display benevolence upon benevolence is the awo of all benevolence. Whoever does not show gratitude for yesterday's benevolence, such a person will not receive today's gratuity. These are the declarations that we fought to the 401 Eramule when going to marry Okwe, gratitude, the daughter of Arisha Buruji, Obatala. They also declared the same to Orumila when going to marry Okwe, the daughter of Arisha Buruji. I am grateful. I received my gratuity. I have received yesterday's. I am grateful for yesterday's favor. I shall receive today's gratuity. Otura Irete, I am grateful. Ashe. Awa dupe, awa bure, awa dupe, oh, awa bure, adupe, anao, ao boy, toribo, olodumare, awa dupe, awa bure, awa dupe, oh, awa bure. Adupe anao, ao boy, toribo, origami, awa dupe, awa bure, awa dupe, oh, awa bure, adupe anao, ao boy, toribo, eromole, awa dupe, awa bure, awa dupe, oh, awa bure, adupe, anao, ao boy, toribo, legondosa. We have come to show our gratitude. We have come to receive our blessings. We come to show our gratitude. We come to receive our blessings. We show our gratitude for all favors of yesterday. We come to receive, we are sure to receive our blessings from Olodumare. We're sure to receive our blessings from our Ori. We are sure to receive our blessings from the Iromole. We are sure to receive our blessings from the Orisha. Ashe. Eroso ni tutu, pounded again without soup can be difficult to consume. This was the Ifa cast for a tutu, child of a Bani Regun. He who was full of bad character, he whose bad attitude had prevented him from coming to Ifa's domain. Now we have come to solicit on behalf of Itutu. We have come to beg on behalf of Itutu. Father, please be patient and overlook this provocation. We have come to beg on behalf of Itutu. Orumila responded. Those who come to solicit on behalf of Itutu, those who come to beg on behalf of Itutu. How many children does Ifa have that he would cast one out? those who come to beg on behalf of Itutu. Ashe. Ofumeji, Heba Odu, the king who molds human beings, the king who molds human destiny, the king who supports and assists human beings, the king who molds human character. The king who molds human beings is the name given to Orishala. The king who molds human destiny is the name given to Orunmila. The king who supports and assists human beings is the name given to Ori. The king who molds human character is the name given to Olodumare. Orangu Meji, I call anybody formula, which is known as Heba Odu. You are the ones who help in organizing one's life for one's life to be rewarded. You are the ones who help in organizing one's life for one's life to be fruitful. Please come and help me organize my life for it to be blessed with wealth, for it to be blessed with children, for it to be blessed with all the array of life. It is impossible to see the depth of the sea. Do not let people see evil in me. It is impossible to see the depth of the river. All what I'm doing, do not let evil people dig up evil in me. Orangu Meiji, I'm calling you by your formula, which is known as Heba Odu. Please let my matters be fruitful and rewarded. Ashe. Oshe Torah. Tiny other feet of Tubu. Sharp community is not big enough to be used as headgear. Had it been enough to use this headgear, and I've taken it home and adorned my head with it. This was the Ifa cast for Awude La when going on a spiritual mission to EJ Bulan. We call him the locust bean seller and we pay her money. We call him Awude La with respect in EJ Bulan. Oshe Torah. The actual stripes of the tree. It was the one who cast Ifa for Orunmila that was going to receive Iba and Ashe from Olodumare. If and Awo says that we shall be wealthy, we shall surely be wealthy. The mouth of Awo resides Iba and Ashe in the mouth of Awo. If and Awo says that we shall have a good spouse, we shall certainly have a good spouse. The mouth of Awo resides Iba and Ashe in the mouth of Awo. If and Awo says that we shall have good children, we shall certainly have good children. The mouth of an owl resides in the mouth of an owl. If an owl says that we shall have all the array of life, we shall certainly have all the array of life. The mouth of an owl resides in the mouth of an owl. Ashe Orisha Lenumi, oh, Ashe Orisha Lenumi. Bobo Timo Bama Muio, Erumole, Oba, Efa Oba, oh, Ashe Orisha Lenumi. Ashe Orisha Lenumi, oh, Ashe Orisha Lenumi. Bobo Timo Bama Muio, Erumole, Oba, Efa Oba, oh, Ashe Orisha Lenumi. Timo duro, Timo dure, Timo bere, Timo dure, Timo kule, Timo dure, Timo joko, Timo dure, ere Timo suori tibo. Let us hold our ovaries. Ori eni laure eni ori eni laure eni moji lauro mofo mori ori eni laure eni ori eni laure eni ori eni laure eni moji lauro mofo mori ori eni laure eni bobo ire itasu. Ifa Oba Oloru Ati Bakadu Ifa Oba Oloru Oshe Awo Ela Ifa Tibon. Ifa, this is your child, Anthony, and I'm here to ask you for your support for these messages this morning. I'm asking you for support for all the listeners that are listening in. I'm asking you support so that we may go out and live the best lives that we can. I'm asking for you to give us guidance, to give us protection, to give us blessings in all that we do. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Hello and good morning again. My name is Baba Anthony, and I am with Okan Ransode Temple here in Miami, Florida. Our message this morning is the title of the service is called Ifa Says, Change Your Mindset for Success. One of the challenges many of us go through is that sometimes our mindset is not in a good place, right? We have come to this practice with a lot of baggage. It could be spiritual baggage, it could be relationship baggage, it could be family trauma. With all that baggage, we may not see success right away, right? And we may not be ready to hear the messages of Ifa. An important step that anyone could take is to work on changing their mindset once they get to this place. Be flexible in your thinking. Be open to understand that the structure and workings of Ifa are different from what you came from before. This will feel uh, different in so many ways. However, uh, this the foundational beliefs of Ifa can really be shared across many different religious practices as you think about it, right? The foundational root of Ifa, the foundational root of Christianity, Islam, Judaism, is to be a good person. That's where I believe it starts. Many of us may not practice that, but that's where it starts. How can we become better people? How can we make the world a better place? Right? It's not easy to turn on once you get initiated to Ifa. It's not. It'll take time. It'll take time and study. It is not easy. And most of the study comes in figuring out who you are. Some of the questions I want us to think about today are: am I able to embrace the change? Have I set any goals for myself? Can I do this by myself or do I need help? And what can I do to make myself feel better? Right? These are the questions I want us to think about. So let us begin with the first Odu of the day. This comes from Oshemeji. Oshemeji. Ashe. The smartness of the Olongo bird and the agility of the Aparo partridge. These were the messages of Ifa for Orumila when going to take wrestling as a profession. He was advised to offer Ebo. Many of us know our prophet Orumila as the greatest diviner of all time, the one who taught all the other great diviners of our world how to live and be Ifa practitioners. But we did not know that he was a wrestler, right? So let's listen to this story. So Orumila was at a time where he decided to enter the profession of wrestling, right? He had tried many different areas of work, all areas that were socially accepted. And at this time, wrestling was fine. There were many wrestlers, many great wrestlers around in Orumila's time. So, in order to prepare himself to be a wrestler, Orumila decided to create special charms and devices to help him get through the process. The efficacy of Orumila's charms were so great that if an elephant wanted to confront Orumila, he was able to bring the elephant down without sweating, right? So Orumila found himself in a good place. He's like, yeah, I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to do this and to become the greatest wrestler. So one day, a wrestling competition was announced, and it was set up. All the great wrestlers from around were coming to wrestle, right? This included Alara, Ajero, Owa Arangun Aga, Olojumbo, and even Olofa. These were some of the greatest wrestlers of all time. On the day of the competition, all the wrestlers lined up. Orumila, being the new one of the competition, everybody was looking at him going, who is he? Who does he think he is? I'm the greatest wrestler. But Orumila was ready for him. Remember, he had prepared himself special devices to win all of these wrestling matches. And so, one by one, he took down the wrestler Alara, then Ajero, then Owa Orangun Aga, then Olojombo, and even Olofa, the greatest wrestler. One by one, he pinned them. And he didn't even break a sweat. He wasn't even breathing heavy. Well, this caused a problem, right? All the wrestlers, one, had lost faith in themselves. They didn't know what to do with themselves anymore. Orumila came home with wrestling trophies galore. I am the champion. But the thing about it was, as a wrestler, he wasn't making any money. He found himself going home to a family who needed support. He was out working and looking for fame and power and strength. But fame, power, and strength didn't pay the bills. They didn't bring home food for his wives. They didn't bring home food for his children. So Orunmila found himself in a place. While he was happy with what he accomplished in wrestling, his home life wasn't happy. His wives were disappointed. They were sad that they couldn't believe that Orunmila would go out and do this and bring nothing home for the family. Shortly after he had gotten home, his wives, they started kind of saying negative things about Orunmila. How can you go out and bring nothing home for the family? Right? They started talking negatively of him. It put Orunmila in a place, very special place. But he said to himself, you know what? I can do this. I can still do this. So what did Orunmila do? He spent 2 more years wrestling. 2 more years. But that didn't translate to anything important in the community. The community that he was from, they weren't interested in the fact that he had a wrestling title. Because again, he wasn't supporting anyone in the community. He wasn't giving back. This was all in Orunmila's glory. So the community are started to stay back. They started to agree with his wives. Well, what is Orunmila doing? Why is he not taking care of his family? Why is he not working and supporting the community like everyone is? Orunmila found himself tired of this situation, and he goes to have Ifa cast for himself with 2 of his students. His students cast Ifa, and Oshe Meiji comes out. They told Orunmila that he was too interested in being someone who showed strength. His focus was only on strength and not on using his mind. They advised Orunmila that he needed to change his path. It was time for him to work towards fulfilling his destiny and using his brain. Orunmila said, Ashe. They told Orunmila that he needed to humble himself. He needed to allow people to be victorious over him. He needed to allow people to throw him. Right? And this wasn't in the form of throwing Orunmila as in Orunmila need to go out wrestling and lose, but this was in the form of throwing Orunmila in the form of casting Ifa so that he can use his brain and intellect, his knowledge of Ifa to support people's lives. So Orunmila says, Ashe. They gave Orunmila the Ebo offering and told him what to do. And within a matter of time, all of those wrestlers that Orunmila had defeated had come to seek consultation from Orunmila. They had come to throw Orunmila. So Orunmila sits down, and one by one, he allows them to throw or cast Ifa for themselves so that he can give them the information, right? They come to seek the knowledge of Ifa, to find out what Ifa was giving them in order for them to find success. And one by one, Orunmila gave them the answers that they were looking for. So first it started with Ajero, excuse me, right? Ajero threw down the Opuele, and Orumila told Ajero that uh, he needed peace of mind. Ajero says, Ashe. So Orumila gave him the Ebo offering for peace of mind. And soon after, Ajero's life got better. Next, Alaro came and threw down the Apole for consultation. And Orumila said he needed financial success. And Alaro said, Ashe. And he gave Alara the Ebo for success. Next comes Owa Orangun Aga. He came for a consultation, and the Apole was thrown down. Orumila told him that he needed wives and children, a bigger family. And he said, Ashe. One by one, everyone started coming for consultations. This work brought money into Orumila's home. Things started getting better. His wives were able to provide food for their children. Orumila was able to bring money back into the community. Everybody started celebrating Orumila for all of his success, for using his intellect, for using his mind, for following his destiny, right? That's the most important aspect of all of this. Orumila found himself where he had a dream to do something, right? He wanted to be great at being a wrestler, but that was against his destiny. When I think about how this applies to us in our lives, let's look about the process of going through Itefa. That is Ifa initiation, the identification of your life Odu, right? Many people go through Itefa. And we find out, right, the reason that we're there is because we're living and working against fulfilling of our destiny. We're trying to find our path. Very much like Orumila, we're going in a place where we are doing something that is not providing us with happiness because there's something that we are missing. Orumila himself found himself living in an unfulfilled life. When I apply that to myself, I am a trained musician. I'm a trombonist. And my focus for so much of the time of my training was on being a traveling, touring, performing musician. I went to school for many years. I was in school for my undergraduate, for my bachelor's degree, and I did doctoral coursework. So I spent many years focused on that. And then as soon as I left school, all the coursework was done and I left school. I was out on the road traveling, performing, doing all this stuff every morning, every week. I was out doing a different job, performing with different groups all over the place. It was fun for a while. Then I got to a point where I thought to myself, okay, this is fun. And my money is good and things are good, but I'm doing this all alone. I'm playing these shows, enjoying myself, but not having anyone to share it with. I was coming home late at night to an empty house. And this got me thinking, is this what I want to do for the next 30, 40, 50 years? Unfortunately, right? Or say fortunately, unfortunately, I had to make that decision. I said, you know what? This is not what I want to do for the rest of my life because I want to have a family. I want to have a wife. I want to have children. I actually don't want to be on the road every week in a different place. That wasn't fun. So to myself, I had to start to think about embracing the change. What am I going to do differently to find myself in the place where I felt more fulfilled and happy and I could still have all of the other things, right? Especially being spiritually focused. I was very far away from that, but I craved it. I wanted Ifa to be more in my life. So I had to make that change, right? So one of the first things I think we have to do in regards to changing our mindset is embracing the change. Don't be stuck. I repeat that again. Don't be stuck. Think about the places that you want to go and how you can get there. Ashe. So this brings us to our next verse. This comes from the Odu of Oturameji. Oturameji. Akala, the hopo of Ipapwa land, is that uses its two legs to pick food for consumption. This was Ifa's message for the inhabitants of Ihe Huje when they were advised to offer Ebo for all Ire to be theirs. Ashe. Here we have the story of the inhabitants of Ihe Huje land. Now, these folks were very hardworking and very enterprising. They took their business seriously. Not only did the adults take the business seriously, they made sure to train their children to do the same. All right. You could see each member of the society working for their society to grow and to get better. They kept focusing and kept working hard, generation after generation. Before long, all of the inhabitants uh, realized that they had a goal to work together, so they all needed to support that goal. So they decided to visit the Babalao during their time, Akala Ipwapo. He was a prominent Babalao in their time, and they wanted to make sure that Ifa supported their success. So they go to have Ifa have Ifa cast. They were looking for financial success. They were looking for compatible spouses. They were looking for good children. They were looking for honor, all the good things that Ifa could bring them. And they wanted to give back to their community. So they go and have Ifa cast. The Babalao says to them that all the great things that they are looking for are coming. All of the great things that they want to achieve will be there. They must maintain the hard work. They must stick to the plan that they have set for themselves. They said Ashe. He advised them of the Ebo to support them through this process, and they offered their Ebo. Before long, the town began to flourish and flourish. Everyone was seeing all of the good things of life come to them. Ashe. So here we have this particular story of this group of people, right? And the point that I want to focus on in this particular story is the idea of having a plan for success. How can we change our mindset without having a plan? Right? I'm certain this is probably the most challenging aspect of it all. How do we create a plan? It's okay if we don't have a plan, but if you have one in place, how do you support that plan? How do you see it manifest? Well, one, you must make sure that you're focused on hard work and perseverance. That has to be there. Two, if you don't have a plan, this is why Ifa is important to us as practitioners. Because it is Ifa that identifies the plan that we wanted to accomplish when we came to live this life. That's what Ifa does for us. Now, I come back to my work as a musician. right? I started to realize from a very young age that if I wanted to be successful in the world of music, everything was about practice. Everything was about hard work and perseverance. Everything was about dedication. If I wanted to be successful, I needed to work harder than those who were around me. And I had many teachers tell me that. One of my most favorite quotes when I was 14 or 15-year-old at music camp up in Michigan was, you know, when you get home and you take a break and you sit down and watch TV, someone else is out there practicing for your spot. I tell you what, as a kid, that lit a fire. That lit a fire. I would play all hours of the night. And when I got to college, it was the same thing. You just continued to practice, continued to push yourself to get better. Right? Now I look at my life as a teacher, as a music teacher. I look at my life as a person who wants to be successful in the practice of Ifa, helping others. There's less competition now. I'm not focused on being better than other folks. I'm simply focused on trying to be better than I was yesterday. Right? Part of our plan for success is to continue to see progress. What did I do? What little thing did I do? We should all know that we won't see progress every day. We won't. However, we should certainly attempt it, right? What new thing do I know now that I didn't know yesterday? One thing that'll put us in a better place. That'll have us working towards our plan, right? Remember, the title of this sermon is How Do We Change Our Mindset? So we have to realize that we have to put in that work in order to get there. So one, we're trying to embrace change. And two, we're trying to have a plan for success. What does that plan look like? And that plan will be different for all of us. And so I think it's important for you that is listening now to start to think about your plan. Start to think about the small steps that you can make to make your plan better. Because once you do that, you'll start to see success. It'll all add up. In 1 year's time, each day you do a little bit of work, you realize, wow, I'm in a different place than I was 1 year ago. Right? So I encourage you to think about that. Ashe. Let's go to the next Odu for today. We go to the Odu of Irete Meji. Irete Meji. Verse goes, Arobagedeba. He was the Awo who cast Ifa for Olaberinjo, the indigenous of Isanlu land. He was advised to offer a bow for success and accomplishment. Ashe. So here we have someone named Olaberinjo. He was from the land of Ishanlu. He left his hometown and he was going to work in Ado Ekiti. Right? When he got to Ado Ekiti, he knew one person in town, and this person, said, "Hey, come hang out with me, come live with me, help me out as a trader, and you can find your bearing when you get here, and you can find your space." He says, "Okay." So he goes. Olaberinjo makes his way over to Ado Ekiti, but he found himself in just a little bit of a challenge. Right? He got there. He only knew one person, and the person that he was staying with was so busy in their business that they couldn't find themselves to a place of helping him find success. So he was He wasn't quite successful when he got there. Nobody was introducing him to other people. He was just kind of doing his thing, trying to find what he was good at while he was there. So Olaberin was in a place where he was out one day going to gather some water at the stream, and he happened to meet Jegwe. Jegwe came from Otun Mobile. He also came to Ado Ekiti to settle and find himself. He heard that businesses were successful in Ado Ekiti. He wanted to find his space. Well, both of them started talking to each other. They were just fine, explaining how they both came there. They're both from different places. And they both had sort of felt this temporary setback because they hadn't met anybody new. They hadn't come together to figure out how to be successful when they got to Ado Ekiti. So they were both struggling together. So they decided to, hey, let's hang out. Let's find our way. You're someone new. I'm someone new. We both want to start businesses. Let's see how we can work together. Okay. 3 weeks later, these two friends, Olaberinjo and Jegwe, they met Okan Lawon. Okan Lawon was from Alatamode Akoko land. And he found himself in Ado Ekiti to start a new life. So now we have 3 friends. All of them came to start new businesses. All of them came to start new lives to find success. But unfortunately, all of them were in a place where nothing was working out, right? So they sat down and they started to discuss, hey guys, what are we good at? How can we make ourselves successful here in Ado Ekiti? Well, Olaberinjo was a hunter, right? He specialized in hunting and catching game animals. Jegwe was a farmer. He knew how to take care of land. He knew how to keep bugs away from the plants. He knew how to find success in farming. Okan Lawon, he was a trade person, a person who was able to sell things. They said, okay. So they got their mind together and they started to think how they can bring their businesses together, right? They needed to find their success. So they created a plan to support each other together, right? They created a plan to support each other together. So first it was Olaberinjo, right? They went to find specific guns that he could use for hunting, right? The special gunpowder that wouldn't cause any issue with the animals, with the game, that it would, make it go bad. After that, they started to buy materials for Jegwe for farming, right? And once they got everything going, they got the materials for Okan Lawon. They started to bring their stuff to him so that he could sell their items for them. Well, this was a good plan. They sat down, they focused, they made their plan. They thought to themselves, yeah, this will work. So Olaberinjo goes out to the forest. He came back home with 2 big antelopes and 1 grass cutter. They used the grass cutter for food and then sold the 2 antelopes. The sale convinced the other 2 friends that Okan Lawon was a fantastic trader and hard bargainer. So they're like, okay, we can do this. Just after that first sale, they're like, yeah, we can do this. With their progress, Olaberinjo still wasn't completely satisfied, so he decided to visit the Awo, Aro Bagedeba, to have Ifa cast for him. He was told to offer the abo and explain that he was about to embark on something great. He was about to embark on having great harvest, on having great game kills, on having food, meat to be shared and sold. He was coming. His success was coming for him in his field. Olabarinjo was very happy to hear this. He says, Ashe. He hears the Ebo offering and gives the offering for his success. So shortly after, Olabarinjo started to find great success. He offered his Ebo. Everything is going the way that he would like, right? His animals were coming to him. He was finding great animals to take to the market to be sold, right? And his success was rising slowly but surely. Now, unfortunately for Jegwe and Okanlawon, their success wasn't quite moving at the pace that Olabarinjo's was moving, right? Okanlawon was having issues trying to pacify the angry people who came looking for items, right? So his sales were kind of up and down. Like, we knew that they had good animals for sale or good things coming, but Okanlawon just couldn't quite figure out what was going on his end of it. Okay, so Olabarinjo says, please come, let us cast Ifa. Jegwe says, okay, I'll give it a shot. And Jegwe is our farmer. So Jegwe goes to have Ifa cast for him. And the Babalawo says, your success is coming. Your success is coming. And he explained, the business that you're in with your friends will bring you lots of progress, lots of great things in life. Here's the Ebo that you need to offer. Jegwe offered the Ebo. Soon after, his crops started to become abundant. Everything that he knew was working the way that he needed to work. And so his progress started coming up. First, it was Olabarinjo. He was moving up, and his friends were down here. Right. Then Jegwe started to catch up, and they were both moving up, but they were still now having issues with Okanlawon because he hadn't gone to the Babalawo yet. So the three of them came back together, and they said, please, Jegwe and Olabarinjo said to Okanlawon, please go and see the Baba to have Ifa cast for you so that you could be supported through Ifa. Okanlawon says, okay, I will do that. So he goes to the Babalawo, and the Babalawo explained to him that your challenge is in how you approach and speak with people, right? You're having issues meeting all of their needs. And Ifa wants to bring you support in that area. Here's the Ebo that you need to offer, and you will begin to find success with your friends. Your business will be greater than it ever could be. Okanlawon was surprised and said, Ashe. So he offers his Ebo. Soon after, the greatness for these three began to explode. Olabarinjo was bringing in all of the game animals, all of the meat that all of the people wanted within town. Jegwe was producing all of the best crops. And Okanlawon was providing the people with what they needed. He was able to talk to them to find out what they needed to make sure that all of their needs were met, right? So you have these three friends that came together in support of each other. They came together to assist each other in their business through Ifa. They all eventually got married in Ado Ekiti. They all found themselves in a place where they were now having their own homes. They were having their own spouses. They had children. They had horses. They were giving back to the community. Right? Sometimes when it comes to changing our mindset, we have to surround ourselves with other people. Right? We can't always do this alone. We can't always do this alone. Sometimes we need the help of others. And we need the help of others that are going to be positive for us, right? In this particular story, we have these three friends who all had their specific areas of expertise. And their areas of expertise supported each other so that they can grow together. And my thought on this process is that if you surround yourself with good people, if you would surround yourself with uh, people who have like-minded ideas in your field of expertise, a byproduct of that relationship is success, right? I think about that with my IFA studies. I surround myself with people who have this love and passion for Ifa because it pushes me when I find myself challenged or overwhelmed. We all go through that. I'm no different than anybody else. We all go through these challenges. And then when I am experiencing my highs, I try to share that with others so that they can find themselves also moving in that direction of being supported, right? I'm giving them the positivity. When we're doing good, it's not bad to share our positivity with others, to try to support others to help them come up with you. It's not a bad thing, right? It's good to have people who you can follow through example, having good elders. It's good to have family people who show you what it's like to be good family members. It's good to have people around you who have similar goals so that you all can rise up together, so that you all can provide support for each other. Now, I know that the world is filled with competition, and so that's not always easy, right? But I promise you, if you make the effort to find people or have people around you who are positive in their thinking, who are focused on doing the good things in life, no matter what it is, you'll get there. And they may not be in your hometown. Sometimes they may be online, right? I love to have online open forums where we just get to talk Ifa. I love doing that because that's another opportunity for us to be around like-minded people and share ideas so that we can grow, right? I have one more aspect that I like to think about when it comes to changing our mindset. And you guys have heard me say this verse before, so it should not be a surprise. So this comes from the Odu of Owanrin Obara. Owanrin Obara. Owanrin, the owl of the riverbed. Obara, the owl of the stream bed. Both Owanrin, the owl of the riverbed, and Obara, the owl of the stream bed, they cast Ifa for Olun Khan, the offspring of that which is more delicious and sweeter than honey. He was advised to offer Ebo. He complied. There is nothing that is more delicious than to wake up with sound health. Vitality is the panacea for prosperity. There is nothing that is more delicious than for one to be blessed with vitality. Vitality is the panacea for prosperity. I've shared this verse before, right? A lot of times, what challenges us to get us in a mindset that is not positive, a lot of it can be surrounded with our health. We're simply too tired. We're simply not strong enough. We're simply not thinking straight. Our mind is cloudy, right? We're focused on not eating the good foods that we should be eating. We're not focused on getting ourselves moving so that blood is flowing through our brain so that we can think well, right? If we're not focused on our health, it makes it challenging. I know one of the first things to go, or the first things I will find myself being challenged with, is the ability of going to the gym or just doing exercise. And then when I stop doing the exercise, then I come home at the end of the day more tired. And if I'm more tired, how do I continue my studies of Ifa? How do I continue to be with my kids who want to run around? Right? Our health affects all of that. If I'm too tired to have a conversation with the people that I want to talk with, right? That's me sabotaging myself. So we have to consider that. We have to make health, our vitality, an important part of what we do. We have to. Keep that in your minds, friends. Keep that as your focus. Because once we do, it becomes easier on changing your mindset. This is what Ifa wants for us. Right? Being an Ifa devotee is something for me that's different than the norm. Right? Many of us come to this practice as adults, and there's a lot of information that comes to us through our divinations or our initiation process. And to even comprehend it, to even experience it, we must change our mindset. We have to. We can't walk into living a better life holding on to what is not good for us. Right? We can't. The things that I focused on today, one, in order to start to change our mindset, we must embrace change, right? Embrace the idea that we're working against ourselves and we need to realign ourselves with our destiny, right? Two, we need to set a plan for ourselves. What will your plan look like so that you can find your success? Three, you don't have to do it alone. Surround yourself with good people who you feel can support you in this process. And four, focus on your health, focus on your vitality. Those are all important things as far as being able to work towards changing your mindset, right? Let us make the decision to follow Ifa to be our best selves, because that is what Ifa wants for us. Live your best life. Be a good person. Do for others. Ashe. I want to thank you for joining me today for our Ifa sermon. I hope you got something from this. I hope that you're understanding what I'm saying and that the message comes by clearly. If you ever want to reach out to learn a little bit more about Ifa, please certainly do reach out through our Facebook page. We have an Instagram page also, and we've got a website, Ifa Temple of Miami. We are Okanran Sode Temple on the social media sites. So I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you again for joining us. Aburu Aboye. Have a blessed week.